Hey everybody, this is Chris with Overclockers Club. We've got something a little different here from eWin. So usually when I think of eWin, I think of their gaming chairs, and they make some gaming desks too. But primarily, gaming chairs, that's what comes to mind when I think of eWin. But we've got something a little different here, and I guess you could sort of say it goes along with gaming. Maybe you sit in the chair a little too long, and you need a little bit of deep muscle stimulation. Let's see what the back shows. E1 International, so pretty straightforward there, not much going on. Let me get the cellophane coating off of there because there's a lot of reflection and glare. So let's see what all is in here. Now, I've never used one of these, so I don't have a whole lot to compare it to. So it will be interesting. Let's see, I guess it comes out on this side. Yep. Oh, all right. So it's in a very nice carrying case. It's like a really hard, it's either a soft plastic or a hard cardboard with a nice fabric outer cover. It says eWin there, a couple zippers, nice carrying handle. And let's see. Okay, so everything is stored nice and neatly on the inside. Looks like things got a little jostled around. And shipping, so it looks like this is battery powered, and the adapter here 26 volts, 0.9 amps. So sort of an oddball charger. Oh, that's nice. So it doesn't look like there's a, let's see, yeah. It doesn't look like there's a charge on it, so we'll have to give it a charge before we turn it on. All right, so I've got this plugged in. We're going to let this charge up for a little while. And let's see what all is included. We've got several attachments here. Now it looks like all these are plastic. This is like hollow. And this is sort of like a rubber end on it. It's a little compliant. This one here is just like the big one, just a little smaller. Feels like it's hollow. These two pieces here have got some weight to them. They feel like they've got, these are like solid metal. I'll go ahead and let's get these out of the bag. And my guess is the information on the little instruction packet there is probably also referenced on the website. But let's go ahead and get this out. And see, okay, maintenance item report. So it looks like you can sort of keep track of what's going on. Yeah, that's your warranty card, deep muscle stimulator, break down lactic acid. Okay, so this goes over the purpose. Okay, yeah, so large ball head, damping head, small flat head, standard ball head, small round head, U head, and there were two others here, like I said. Maybe they're referenced in the back. Huh. So I'll go over this in more detail and we'll cover some of the highlights there, but basically we zoom up here to the website. It sort of shows you everything that is included. Right there, those are all the attachments. It gives you the dimensions, the weight, and over here, again, it sort of talks about all of the different features. So it looks like these all have the same end on them for the attachment connection. All right, now before I actually try to use it, I will point out here on the bottom there is a little indicator that shows that it is charging, and when you unplug it, of course, it stops. And yep, continues. And let's see on the bottom here, let's see, on off switch, and then it just shows you 24 volt, 1 amp, 30 watt. So that's the requirement on the adapter. Okay, so while that's charging, we'll look at some of the features in more detail. So we come over here and look at the main feature page. Now, specifications, that's what we just looked at. So here are the features. Let's see. eWin Prime's AI chip that personalizes your routine and guides you through your wellness journey. Alrighty. It leads the industry with 8 hours of total battery life, so that's good to know. Now with twice the battery life of our previous generations. LED screen with force meter. So it looks like you've got complete control over your recovery routine by conveniently displaying your current speed and a responsive force meter. All right, so you can toggle between up to 3 preset treatments saved to your device. So that's good. We'll have to experiment with all that. And this looks interesting. Let's see, commercial grade brushless motor with quiet force technology. It delivers up to 60 pounds of no stall force if you need it, all while being as quiet as a standard electric toothbrush, which is less than 45 decibels. And let's see, thermal design for eWin Prime, Fascia gun, improve power performance and extend motor usage time. I guess that means the motor cools itself. So we'll have to play around with that. I don't think this thing is heated, other than the heat it creates by its own use. Okay, so now this walks you through each one of the attachments. So there's the damper. Let's see, cone, used for pinpoint muscle treatment, air cushion. Oh, that's this one down here. Thumb attachment, standard ball. Oops, U-shaped for neck, Achilles tendon. Here's a wedge, commonly used for scraping and flushing. Okay, help decrease the lactic acid in your muscles. And super soft, vibration therapy, mostly used for sensitive areas including bones. Okay, so like I said, this is all new to me, so this is sort of a learn as you go. Okay, and like I said, while that thing's charging, I guess I'll go through the manual here a little bit. So let's see. Okay, safety notes. Always good to read about the safety and follow the instructions. Let's see, it says the following must be understood before use, otherwise damage or danger may be caused. Okay, well, for the crowd and parts. I don't know what that means, for the crowd and parts. Okay, well, only for healthy adults except the elderly. Okay. Use this product only on the soft tissues of the body without pain or discomfort. Makes sense. Do not use on the head or any hard or bony part of the body. Yeah, my head's pretty bony, pretty hard. Whether it is controlled by pressing or to apply pressure, it may produce bruising. That makes sense. So basically, don't beat yourself to death with it. Check the massage area frequently and stop using immediately in case of any pain or discomfort. Again, common sense. It can only be used on the surface of dry and clean skin of the body part. Okay. Press and move gently on the skin. All right. Keep fingers, hair, and other parts of the body away from the shaft and rear of the vibrating head to avoid being caught. And again, that makes sense. If you have long hair, you don't want to get it caught up in the machine since there is a moving part. Keep fingers, hair, or other parts of the body away from the shaft. Already read that. Do not use this product near the bone covered with less muscle, such as the tibia, dorsum of foot, and dorsum of hand. And that makes sense. Areas where there's just really thin skin, because you can probably damage it. Do not use in or around the following sensitive parts: eyes, okay, teeth, breast augmentation, reproductive organs, and artificial limbs. Usually when you see a sign like that, something that says don't do this, there's a reason they say that, because somebody's done it. Do not use the product on any possible fracture part. If the pain is persistent, stop using immediately and consult your doctor. Okay, so again, a lot of common sense stuff there. The translation from, I think, Chinese to English, you get the point. I'm sure when we translate things from English to Chinese, things do not make a direct translation. So the rest of this just talks about the battery. Don't get it wet, don't submerge it. That makes sense. Don't drop it. Don't use it as a hammer. Talks about the charging. Battery can be charged at any time or at any power level, so you don't have to wait for it to be completely discharged. When the power is less than 20%, the power indicating display flashes. So it's just a reminder that the charge is low and you need to charge it. Do not use if the battery has odor, heat, or deformation, discoloration, anything like that. So that makes sense. So let's see. Acceptance usage methods. So this is one of those things that I think I'll just have to sort of experiment on my own. A lot of times you buy something that you've never used before. It might be a new coffee maker or a humidifier, something like that, and you kind of go through the instructions and you think you know how to use it. You don't know till you try. All right, still charging, and I guess I want to take a quick look at this. Shows some of the components here. So what I'm trying to figure out is, so the removable, replaceable, vibrating massage head. Got it. Tapping times of the gear, this little readout. So that must be like RPMs or the frequency. I wonder if that might be adjustable. One key touch. Battery status, we saw that. Power switch and DC charging port are on the bottom. We already looked at that. Handle removable battery. All right, well. So let's see. All right, so this is the display. There's usually, there's a little protective cover there. Plastic. Oh yeah, that looks a lot nicer. And let's see, it looks like this rotates. So that must be the adjustment for the speed, I'm assuming. And there's some kind of a button here, but it didn't show it in the manual, so I'm not real sure what this is. It looks like a release of some sort. You push that and boy, it's not moving. I'm not sure what that is. Let's see. So there's the receiver. That's where all the little attachments connect. Looks like they all just push in. And in fact, if we look, it looks like there's sort of like an O-ring there for interference, a little rubber, like a little grommet with a slightly larger diameter. So when you push it in, it sort of holds it in so it doesn't come out easily. But when you want to remove it, you just kind of give it a pull. It comes right out. All right, back to the unit. Let's see. I guess, okay, so it does turn on when it's charging. Some things won't power up if they're plugged in. Let's see, it looks like a fingerprint, so do I? Yeah, nothing's happening. So let's unplug it and see if that makes a difference. Turn it off, turn it back on. Defaults at P0. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so this is the on-off button here, the little fingerprint. Alright, so I don't have a tool in there, but you can see it rotating, and it looks sort of funny there because it's a little out of sync with the frame rate of the camera. So let's see if I can figure out what is going on. Alright, so I plug it in and it automatically starts charging, but it does shut off. Alright, so I guess I need to see if there's a better description of how to use it. Alright, so reading through the usage method here, it's on page 7. It says when the device is closed, insert the massage head completely with pressure. So just saying push the tool and use a little bit of force, but it does say down here to remove it, just pull it out directly, do not rotate it. So push it in, pull it out, but don't rotate it. My guess is you'll damage the rubber surface there, and it probably will lose some of its gripping ability. So the other thing here, I think this answers the question what that little tab was on the bottom side there. So it says to remove the battery, pull the lock key to unlock end with one hand and pull the battery handle down firmly with the other. So my guess is what they're talking about is this guy here. So this is probably a release. All right, so if I push that, I don't know if I can get it or not. I'll have to try later, but it looks like if you push this direction, it releases the battery, which is down here in the handle. So I'll see if I can get that later. All right, so I've been using this on and off now for a few weeks, and I'll give you my observations. The first one here, I sort of left you with this little button right here. It's supposed to be a release for the battery. The battery's in the handle here. And I tell you what, I pulled and twisted and tried everything I could to get the battery to separate from the main housing here. I tried this in both positions and I can't get it loose. I know a lot of times when things are new, that first time you pop them loose, and then after that, you know, everything is easier, but I can't even get it to that first time. And really though, I don't know if there's any reason why I would ever have to take the battery off. I mean, I guess it's good that you can and they have a release, but I guess it really doesn't matter one way or the other. Okay, so I do have some, I guess, questions. I'm not entirely sure. So we turn this thing on, and again, as you recall, there's a charging indicator down here, so it's fully charged. And when you first turn it on, it looks like it defaults to P0. So three basic settings. Now this turns, although honestly I turned it as far as I could, you know, to the right and to the left, when it's running, when it's not running, and I don't know that this does anything at all, or if it's even supposed to. The instructions don't really seem to be clear. I would expect this would speed it up or slow it down a little, or maybe change the intensity. You know, you can customize it, but I could not tell that moving this did anything, and maybe it's not supposed to. But if you look at the settings here, so this is the little fingerprint area where you push. So P0, it's just sitting here idle, nothing's happening. And you push it once, tap it once, it goes to P1. And there's a counter here. It just starts counting. I guess that's seconds. Also, this doesn't seem to change whether I push down on it or if it's just out here idle. It doesn't seem to really change much. And P1 is just a basic setting. So you have P1, tap it again. P2 is a little faster. And P3 is the high setting. So it's kind of like a low, medium, high. And yeah, it'll get your attention. And then you hit it again and you go down to P0, which is your stop mode. So let's just say, and I tried all these out. My favorite one is probably between the large ball and this little soft cushiony one. Some of these others, they have their applications, and again, it's really a personal preference, or these things are really all subjective. So we pop that in there, make sure it's seated. So we're at P0 now. The next setting here, so P2 is mid, P3 is high. If you hold it, now this changes to green. It was red before. Green, you have H0. So again, H0 is just idle. It's not doing anything. You hit it once. And this mode here, the H mode, sort of cycles between a slower speed and then it speeds up a little, and it just sort of oscillates up and down. You can kind of hear it. It goes up and then it comes down a little bit. And it pretty much does that. Oscillates up and down. And again, this rotary dial here just doesn't seem to do anything. So that's the H mode, and H just has 0 and 1. So if I hit this, it just goes back to 0, which is the idle. And then we have a third mode, and when you hold it, that's the trick, you have to actually hold it, it goes to F. And then this turns kind of purple. Bluish purple, might be a little hard to see there. So you've got red, green, and purple. But again, F0 is just idle, nothing's happening. But you tap it again, and you've got F1, and F1 goes through a series of 3 different presets. So it goes from a low to a medium, actually a low to a medium to a high. So there's medium, there's high, so there's low, medium, and then a high. I'm getting that out of order. Right, so there's the medium, there's the high. Okay. Okay, so it's going from low to medium to high to medium back to low. So it's just oscillating between those 3, or sequencing between those 3 modes. And again, the knob here doesn't seem to do anything. Doesn't change the intensity, doesn't change the frequency. It's just going along for the ride. Now if I hit this again, it goes back to 0. So there are only 2 settings. There's F1 and F0. If we hold this, we go back to P. In P0, it's idle. There's P1, which is slow. P2 is medium. P3 is fast. Go back to 0, and then we hold it for a moment, and then we go to H, and H just has H0 and H1, and then you hold it and you go to F, and F0, F1. So those are the modes and the functionality. And it talks about this AI chip here, and I'm not real sure exactly what it does. It says it personalizes your routine and guides you through your wellness journey. If it does that, I'm not sure how it's doing that. Again, the instructions here, there needs to be a little more clear explanation of exactly what's going on. As far as being a massage gun and being able to go from a low to a medium to a high, it does that. It gets the job done. And then I come back to this screen here, and it talks about the LED screen gives you complete control over your recovery routine by conveniently displaying your current speed and responsive force meter. So I guess these are your speeds, but to me a force meter, I use force meters where I work in my day job, actually force transducers, and you get some sort of a feedback. The harder you push or the more force this is delivering, you'll get some kind of an indication that you can see it adjust, and it doesn't seem to do that, so maybe that's not the best word to describe that. You can toggle between the 3 presets. Okay, I can do that. But again, it wouldn't take a whole lot to really improve the understanding of what's going on. So despite the confusion or ambiguity with the instructions, At the end of the day, does it do what it's supposed to do? Well, it's a massage gun, and it certainly takes care of any massage needs that you have. Probably my favorite settings here are the P1, 2, and 3. You can just go slow, medium, or fast. And if you've got somebody to sort of help, especially on your back or your neck, it's a little hard to hold the handle for yourself on the back. What I've done, what I learned, is if you grip it with this hand when it's behind you, you can sort of guide it a little more because your wrist is sort of contorted on the handle. So if you use two hands to sort of position it and guide it, oh yeah, you'll have a little better luck with it, I think, especially on the lower back. I know you can't really see it, but if you use two hands, that's about the only way you can use it. If you try to use one, your wrist is all twisted and it doesn't work out real well. Get back down there to 0. Okay, some of the things it talks about there on the main page talks about how quiet it is, and it is quiet. I mean, yeah, it rattles around every once in a while, or I guess it depends on if that's really important to you. I guess for me, if I'm going to be using this, I'm really not too worried about waking people up or anything like that. So it's quiet enough that it doesn't really, make you feel like, you need to go to another room and use it because you're going to disturb everybody. So I guess that's what I would call a plus. The battery charge level, I topped it off a couple of times, but I never got to the point where the battery was, it's not like you use it for a day or two and all of a sudden the battery needs to be recharged. I didn't have any issues with that. So a battery tends to degrade over time depending on how often you use it, how far you let it discharge before you recharge, what kind of temperatures it's stored at. All those things factor into how long the battery lasts, but I don't know that I would be real concerned about that. Pricing, I've seen these things for half of what this one costs all over Amazon. This one right now is $199, but I've never used any of those, so I can't really tell if they're any good or not. They may be complete trash. They may not hold a charge very long. They may not be nearly as robust as this one. I don't know. It's hard to say. What I can say, though, if I paid $200 for this, would I be disappointed? I guess in the instructions a little bit, but really when it comes down to being functional, does this thing work and do what it's supposed to do? Absolutely. So in that regard, from a functionality standpoint, I would give it the Overclockers Club Gold Award. So this is Chris with Overclockers Club. Thanks for watching and happy massaging.